Have you ever wondered what it truly means to live a fulfilling life after turning 70? In this video, I'll share the 11 powerful things I let go of to transform my journey into one filled with peace, joy, and renewed purpose. Whether you're approaching this milestone or already embracing it, these insights can help you redefine your life, shed what no longer serves you, and focus on what truly matters. Stay with me until the end to discover practical steps that can inspire your transformation and guide you toward a more meaningful and joyful chapter of life. If you're not already subscribed, I encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell so you never miss a video. Your support means the world to me. If you enjoy this video, help me continue spreading these valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you resonate with this topic, please comment 1 below, and if not, let me know how I can improve by commenting 0. Now let's dive into the 11 things I let go of after turning 70. Turning 70 was more than just another birthday. It was a profound turning point in my life. A milestone that urged me to reflect deeply on my journey and what truly mattered moving forward. As I entered this new chapter, I realized life wasn't just about aging. It was about embracing a beautiful transformation. It was time to release old patterns, habits, and mindsets that no longer served me, things I had clung to for far too long. In letting go, I found something invaluable: peace, joy, and a deep, unshakable sense of purpose. This process wasn't easy. I had spent decades believing certain things were essential to my identity. But as I embraced this new phase, I realized how much baggage I had been carrying. Unnecessary weight that clouded my happiness and limited my freedom. So I made a conscious decision to let go, to release what was holding me back from the life I had always dreamed of, but was too afraid to claim. The results were nothing short of miraculous. My heart felt lighter, my days brighter, and my purpose clearer than ever before. Letting go wasn't about giving up or resigning myself to old age. It was about shedding the layers that prevented me from fully living. I no longer wanted to be tethered by outdated beliefs, the fear of judgment, or the constant pressure to live up to others' expectations. I learned that true freedom comes when we stop clinging to the past and open ourselves to the boundless possibilities the future holds, no matter our age. For me, turning 70 was a gateway to rediscovering the essence of who I am. A person deserving of joy, tranquility, and fulfillment. It was about choosing what mattered, and finally letting go of everything that didn't. What I found in return was the extraordinary gift of living authentically, with more gratitude and purpose than I ever thought possible. This journey of letting go wasn't just an act of decluttering my life, it was a powerful reclamation of my spirit. It allowed me to embrace the richness of every single day. Free from the burdens that had weighed me down, I let go, and in doing so, I unlocked a life filled with more peace, more joy, and more love than I had ever imagined. In my younger years, I was caught in an endless cycle of busyness, always striving to climb higher, achieve more, and secure my place in the world. I believed that working non-stop, juggling projects, and being constantly on the move was the key to success. It felt like if I wasn't busy, I was falling behind. The corporate grind became my norm, and I measured my worth by how much I accomplished. But as I reached 70, something inside me shifted. I began to see that all the hustle, all the late nights, and endless tasks drained me of my energy, joy, and connection to the things that truly mattered. If you're still watching and finding these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know you're still with me. The truth hit me hard. I wasn't truly living. I had been working out of habit, not passion or purpose, and that realization changed everything. I began asking myself, why am I doing this? What is the real reason behind my constant busyness? If a project or task didn't align with my core values or bring me closer to my personal goals, I gave myself permission to step back. It was incredibly liberating, like shedding a weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying for decades. Letting go of the need to always be busy allowed me to rediscover the joy of living in the present. I no longer equate busyness with success. Instead, I found that true wealth lies in the time spent with loved ones, pursuing hobbies that bring real happiness, and those quiet moments of reflection and rest that are so often overlooked. Every day feels more intentional now, more grounded in what truly matters to me. Have you ever felt like you're just working out of habit, always chasing the next thing without even knowing why? What would it feel like to step back, to let go of that constant urge to be productive? Imagine a life where the only things you work on are those that bring you joy or serve a higher purpose. Would you feel more fulfilled? For me, the answer was a resounding yes. By letting go of unnecessary busyness, I opened the door to a more balanced, peaceful and purposeful life, a life where I finally feel free. For many years, I was trapped in the cycle of mindless spending, not even realizing the toll it was taking on my life. Everywhere I looked, messages were telling me to buy more, to have more, to accumulate things that promised happiness and fulfillment, and I fell for it. I filled my home with gadgets, clothes and trinkets, believing they would bring me joy. But the happiness these things brought was fleeting, disappearing as quickly as it came. What was left behind? A house full of clutter and a nagging emptiness that no amount of purchases could ever fill. As I've grown older, I've come to a powerful realization. Material possessions rarely provide lasting satisfaction. All those things I bought in hopes of feeling fulfilled, none of them truly mattered. I realized that true wealth isn't found in things, but in experiences, relationships and moments that enrich the soul. So I made a conscious decision to quit mindless spending and start spending with intention. Now, I only buy things that genuinely add value to my life, whether it's an enriching experience like traveling or something as simple as a book that expands my mind. This shift has been transformative. It's not just about saving money, although that's a nice benefit. It's about refocusing my energy on things that truly bring joy. I no longer feel the pull to shop impulsively to fill an emotional void. Instead, I appreciate the simplicity of life, the beauty of what I already have, and the deep sense of contentment that comes from focusing on the non-material aspects of life that matter. Have you ever bought something on impulse, only to feel that sinking regret later on? Imagine how much lighter and freer you would feel if you let go of that habit. How would your life change if you only spent on things that truly brought happiness or served a meaningful purpose? For me, it's brought a sense of peace I never knew I needed, more freedom, more clarity, and more room to enjoy the things that matter. Letting go of mindless spending has been one of the most liberating decisions of my life, and I wish I had made it sooner. In my younger years, I let the tiniest inconveniences throw me off balance, whether it was a traffic jam, a petty argument, or a last-minute change in plans. These small irritations would fester inside me, building up into a wave of stress that followed me everywhere. It was exhausting, constantly being on edge about things that, in hindsight, didn't really matter. This low-grade anxiety drained my energy and robbed me of the joy that comes from simply being present. But when I turned 70, something shifted. I began to ask myself a simple yet powerful question whenever I felt stress rising. Will this matter a year from now? And almost every single time, the answer was no. And just like that, I started letting go of the small stuff that once consumed me. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, a weight I had carried for decades without even realizing it. By letting go of things I couldn't control, I found peace and clarity that had been missing for so long. Traffic jams? They pass. Arguments? Most aren't worth the energy. Appointments that don't go as planned? They'll be forgotten soon enough. Focusing on what I can control and letting go of what I can't has allowed me to approach life with a calmer, more grounded perspective. Life is full of imperfections, uncertainties, and messy moments, and that's okay. There's beauty in the chaos, and by accepting it, I've discovered a deeper sense of peace than I ever thought possible. Imagine how different your life could be if you stopped worrying about things beyond your control. How much lighter would you feel if you let go of small, insignificant stresses that clutter your mind? What's one tiny thing that's been bothering you lately? Could you release it and find more peace in your day? Letting go of stress over the small things has been nothing short of transformative. It's given me the freedom to focus on what truly matters, making my days so much more enjoyable. For most of my life, I was caught in the trap of constantly trying to please others, whether it was family, friends, or colleagues. Their needs always came first, and I wore my selflessness like a badge of honor, thinking that putting myself last somehow made me a better person. But the truth was, it left me drained, worn out, and disconnected from myself. I had given so much of my energy away that there was nothing left for me. It wasn't until I turned 70 that I finally realized something important. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. In a world where we're conditioned to prioritize everyone else, I had to unlearn the idea that taking care of myself meant neglecting others. It was a tough shift to make, but it was incredibly liberating. I started small, setting aside time for myself in the mornings, whether it was meditating, taking a quiet walk in nature, or savoring a cup of tea while getting lost in a good book. I began nurturing my mind and spirit, practicing gratitude, and speaking to myself with the same kindness I so freely gave others. This newfound commitment to self-care changed everything. It was like refilling a well that had long since run dry. When I took care of my own needs, I had so much more energy, patience, and love to give to others. Instead of feeling resentful or exhausted, I became present, engaged, and able to give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. Have you ever found yourself constantly putting others first and neglecting your own needs? It's easy to think that caring for yourself is selfish, but in reality, it's the most loving thing you can do. Imagine how much more you could give to the people you care about if you made your well-being a priority. What would happen if you carved out time just for yourself? For me, prioritizing self-care has been transformative. It's allowed me to show up more fully for myself and for the people I love, reminding me that I deserve the same care, kindness, and attention that I freely offer to others. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. For most of my life, I was the person who said yes to everything. Whether it was attending social events, volunteering, or helping friends and family, I was always eager to be there for everyone, not wanting to disappoint anyone. But the cost was steep. My peace and well-being were often sacrificed. I had no time to breathe, no time to rest, and no time for myself. I was exhausted, both physically and emotionally. I began to realize that always saying yes wasn't making me happy. It was draining me. As I've grown older, I've learned that saying no is one of the most empowering things I can do for myself. It's not about being selfish, it's about being mindful of my time, energy, and well-being. Now, I'm selective about what I commit to. I ask myself, does this align with my values? Does it bring me joy? If the answer is no, I don't hesitate to turn down the invitation or request. It's been one of the most liberating changes I've ever made. If you're still watching and finding these lessons helpful, please comment too below to let me know that you're still here with me. By saying no to things that no longer serve me, I've made space in my life for what truly matters. I no longer feel the weight of needing to please everyone. Instead, I focus on the commitments that bring me real joy and fulfillment. There's a quiet power in choosing what to say yes to, protecting my time and energy. It has brought me balance, peace, and more time to nurture the relationships and activities that add meaning to my life. Do you ever struggle with saying no? Do you find yourself overcommitting, even when it leaves you feeling drained? Imagine the freedom of choosing only the commitments that truly serve you. What's one thing you've agreed to that saps your energy? How would it feel to say no the next time an unwanted request comes your way? For me, learning to say no has been a game changer. It's given me the gift of time to rest, reflect, and focus on what really matters. By letting go of the need to overcommit, I've reclaimed my energy, and in doing so, I've found more joy and fulfillment in the commitments I do choose. Saying no isn't rejecting others, it's affirming yourself. Relationships are the heart of our lives, shaping who we are and how we experience the world. But not all relationships are created equal. For years, I clung to connections with people who didn't respect me or brought negativity into my life out of a sense of duty or obligation. Whether it was friends, colleagues, or even family, I felt compelled to maintain these relationships, even though they left me feeling drained and emotionally exhausted. Deep down, I knew these relationships weren't serving me, but I couldn't let go. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, and I feared being alone. But when I turned 70, something inside me shifted. I had a wake-up call. Life is too short to waste on people who don't uplift you. Time is precious, and spending it with those who don't bring peace or positivity is not only draining, it's damaging. Letting go of unhealthy relationships wasn't easy, and it came with guilt. But it was one of the most freeing and necessary things I've ever done for myself. I didn't end these relationships with malice, but with the decision to prioritize my well-being. I began focusing on people who genuinely cared for me, who supported me and encouraged my growth. I sought out relationships that were nurturing and enriching, and what I found was nothing short of transformative. Letting go of toxic connections created space for deeper, more meaningful bonds. The weight of negativity lifted, and I felt a profound sense of peace I hadn't known before. I was finally surrounded by people who made me feel valued, respected, and loved. Are there people in your life who drain your energy? Maybe you've been holding on to relationships that you know deep down aren't serving you. What would happen if you focused on those who lift you instead of those who bring you down? Imagine how much lighter and happier you would feel if you invested your time in people who bring positivity into your life. Ending unhealthy relationships isn't easy, but it's an act of self-love. It's not about cutting people off in anger, but about choosing to nurture connections that bring joy and support into your world. Since making this shift, my life has been filled with deeper, more meaningful connections, and I've never felt more at peace. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the freedom to walk away from what no longer serves you. For far too long, I put my health on the back burner, convinced that there were always more important things demanding my attention: work, family, and endless responsibilities. It was easy to push my well-being aside, telling myself I'd focus on it later. But when I turned 70, I had a moment of reckoning. I realized I could no longer afford to ignore my health. I began to understand that without it, even the simplest joys of life, like playing with my grandkids or taking a walk in nature, could slip through my fingers. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but I started with small changes. I began walking every morning, not as a chore, but as a time to reconnect with myself and the world around me. I swapped out processed foods for healthier options, nourishing my body in ways I hadn't before. Most importantly, I carved out moments for stillness and reflection through meditation, which has enriched my mental and emotional health. These small changes weren't just about improving my physical health. They were a gateway to clearer thinking, emotional balance, and an overall sense of well-being that I had long overlooked. There's a saying that health is wealth, and now I know how true that is. No amount of money, success, or achievement can replace the feeling of waking up strong, clear-headed, and capable. And the best part, it's never too late to start. No matter where you are in life, taking even the smallest step toward better health can create ripple effects that change everything. How often do you find yourself putting your health last? What if, just for a moment, you shifted your focus and made your well-being a priority? Imagine the difference even the tiniest change, whether it's a daily walk, a healthier meal, or a few minutes of quiet meditation, could make in your life. For me, prioritizing my health has been transformative. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better. And if I can do it at 70, I truly believe anyone can. So, what's one small thing you can start doing today to improve your health? You might be amazed at how it changes your life. Time is a funny thing. It seems infinite when we're young, but before we know it, years slip through our fingers. For much of my life, I fell into the trap of believing there was always tomorrow, always later, to chase my dreams. I was busy with the demands of everyday life, always telling myself there would be time in the future to focus on me, on the passions and goals I had quietly tucked away. But when I turned 70, I had a sobering realization. Later isn't guaranteed. That wake-up call pushed me to stop waiting for the elusive, perfect moment and start taking action on the dreams I had postponed for far too long. I no longer wanted to be the person who looked back with regret, wondering what could have been if I had only acted sooner. Whether it was learning a new skill, traveling to a dream destination, or finishing a book I had started years ago, I committed myself to pursuing my personal goals with intention, determination, and most importantly, joy. There's incredible power in deciding that the perfect time is now. No more waiting, no more making excuses, no more putting off the things that truly matter to me. And what I discovered along the way was nothing short of magical. Each day now feels filled with purpose, excitement, and a renewed sense of adventure. I'm no longer living in a someday mindset. I'm living in the here and now, and it feels exhilarating. Have you ever put your dreams on hold, telling yourself you'll get to them later? What's stopping you from taking that first step today? Imagine how your life might change if you stopped waiting for the perfect time and started pursuing your personal goals right now. From experience, I can tell you that the moment you stop procrastinating on what truly matters, everything changes. It's not about having everything figured out, it's about taking action, no matter how small, and watching those steps build into something extraordinary. Embracing change instead of fearing it. For the longest time, change was my biggest fear. I dreaded the thought of anything shifting or evolving in my life. I held on tightly to what was familiar, even when I knew it wasn't serving me anymore. There's comfort in the known, and I convinced myself that staying in my comfort zone was the safest path. But as I reached 70, I began to see things differently. I realized that change is inevitable, whether we welcome it or not. More importantly, I came to understand that change is often the key to growth, renewal, and discovering new layers of ourselves. Instead of resisting change, I made the conscious choice to embrace it. And what a profound shift that was. Where I once saw change as something frightening, I now see it as an opportunity for new experiences, growth, and self-discovery. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Embracing change has added a sense of freedom and adventure to my life that I never expected. What if you stopped fearing change and started viewing it as an adventure? What if instead of resisting the shifts life brings, you leaned into them with curiosity? Imagine how your life might transform if you stopped clinging to what was and embraced what could be. For me, embracing change has unlocked new dimensions of joy, growth, and freedom. So what's stopping you from leaning into change? Let it guide you, let it teach you, and most importantly, let it lead you to a life full of new possibilities. Valuing sleep as a cornerstone of health. Sleep is one of those things we often overlook when we're younger, thinking we can get by on a few hours here and there. I was no different. I used to sacrifice rest without a second thought, running on fumes because there was always something more important to do. But as I've gotten older, I've come to deeply appreciate how vital sleep is to my overall well-being. Without proper rest, my body, mind, and spirit simply can't function at their best. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. During those hours of rest, our bodies heal, our minds reset, and our spirits recharge. I no longer take sleep for granted. I've made it a cornerstone of my health, prioritizing it above late-night TV, staying up for work, or mindlessly scrolling on my phone. I've established a bedtime routine that helps me wind down, whether it's a warm cup of herbal tea, a good book, or some gentle meditation. The difference this change has made is profound. Waking up feeling refreshed, energized, and clear-headed has become one of the most rewarding changes I've made for myself. I no longer drag through the day trying to function on limited energy. Instead, I wake up with vitality, ready to embrace the day ahead. Are you getting enough sleep? How much better could you feel with just a little more rest? What small change can you make to your bedtime routine to help you get the rest you deserve? If you've found these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know you're still here with me. For me, the simple act of valuing sleep has been life-changing. It's taught me to respect my body's needs and honor the importance of rest, allowing me to live a fuller, more vibrant life. So tonight, why not try winding down a little earlier? Turn off the screens, create a calming routine, and let yourself fully rest. Your body, mind, and spirit will thank you for it. Letting go of comparisons is something we all struggle with. often without realizing it. For years, I found myself measuring my worth against others, comparing their achievements, appearances, and lifestyles to my own. It was almost instinctive, as though my validation depended on how I stacked up next to those around me. Whether it was career success, personal milestones, or even something as superficial as physical appearance, I let the lives of others dictate how I felt about myself. But when I turned 70, everything changed. I had a profound revelation. Comparison is the thief of joy. I realized that no matter how much I compared myself to others, it would never lead to happiness. It only sowed seeds of self-doubt, envy, and dissatisfaction. I stopped looking outward for validation and started turning inward, focusing on my own unique journey. Each of us walks a different path, and there is no universal measure of success or happiness. We all have our timelines, struggles, and victories. By letting go of the need to compare, I discovered something far more valuable than outside approval peace. A deep sense of contentment washed over me as I began to appreciate my life for exactly what it is, rather than constantly wishing it were different or more like someone else's. The shift in mindset was transformative. No longer weighed down by the constant pressure to measure up, I felt lighter, freer, and more joyful. I realized that the life I've lived is more than enough. It's mine, and it's uniquely beautiful in its own way. The energy I once wasted on comparison is now spent appreciating the small, precious moments that make my life meaningful. What would happen if you stopped comparing yourself to others? Imagine the joy, peace, and contentment you might find if you focused on your journey, on the beauty of your unique path. How often do you find yourself measuring your life against someone else's? What might change if you shifted that focus inward and chose instead to celebrate the person you are, the life you've built, and the path you're on? For me, letting go of comparisons has been one of the most freeing decisions I've ever made. It has allowed me to embrace my life, flaws and all, with a sense of pride and gratitude I never knew I was capable of. I stopped wishing for someone else's life and started living fully on my own. So the next time you catch yourself comparing, pause for a moment and remind yourself that your journey is your own. And that's exactly how it's meant to be. You might just find that joy and contentment have been waiting for you all along. Living with intention after 70 has been one of the most profound and transformative experiences of my life. Letting go of old habits, beliefs, and relationships that no longer serve me has allowed me to embrace a life of greater intention. It has brought me clarity, peace, and an overwhelming sense of freedom. For the first time in decades, I'm able to focus on what truly matters, the people, passions, and moments that fill my heart with joy. Living with intention means making choices that align with my values, investing my time and energy in ways that bring meaning and purpose to each day. As I move forward into this next chapter of life, I feel a renewed sense of purpose, one that is grounded in the things that nourish my soul. I no longer waste time on things that hold me back or drain me. Instead, I choose to spend my days in ways that uplift me, with people who support me, and on pursuits that bring me true fulfillment. Life after 70 isn't about slowing down. It's about living with more focus, more gratitude, and more intention than ever before. If you're approaching or already in your 70s, take a moment to reflect. What might you need to let go of to live more fully? Are there habits, mindsets, or relationships that are weighing you down? Your time is precious. Don't waste it on things that no longer serve you. Living with intention is about choosing a life that brings you peace, joy, and purpose every single day. It's never too late to start embracing your own journey. Aging often carries a narrative of decline, something to resist or fear. But what if we reframed it as an opportunity? An opportunity to embrace who we are, not who we were. Aging gives us the space to shed the unnecessary and live a life that truly reflects our authentic selves. It's not about becoming someone new, but rather becoming more of ourselves. Take a moment to think about your journey. Are there habits or commitments that no longer serve you? Perhaps some relationships have grown toxic, or you're still holding on to fears that keep you from living fully. The beauty of life after 70 is that you have the wisdom to make these decisions with intention. What would your ideal day look like if you let go of everything that weighed you down? Imagine living that day, every day. Try journaling about one thing, big or small, that you could release to create more space for joy and peace in your life. Building a legacy of joy and peace is one of the most powerful gifts of aging. Not just through what we do, but through how we live. When we prioritize our well-being, embrace change and let go of what no longer serves us, we set an example for our loved ones. We show them that life doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful, and that it's never too late to make positive changes. Imagine the impact of living a life filled with intention, joy and peace, not just for yourself but for those around you. Your children, grandchildren, friends and even your community will be inspired by your choices. They will witness the power of personal growth at any age. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? If there was one change you could make today, what would it be? And what's stopping you from taking that step toward a more intentional life? Staying connected and finding your community is essential as we age. It's easy to feel isolated, especially when life changes like retirement or health challenges disrupt our routines. But finding your community can make all the difference. Whether it's through hobbies, volunteering, or simply spending time with friends, staying connected is a powerful antidote to loneliness. Engage with people who share your interests, who understand the unique joys and challenges of this stage of life. Join a book club, participate in a walking group, or connect online. These relationships remind us that we're never truly alone. Have you been curious about trying a new activity or group? Don't underestimate the power of a simple hello or extending an invitation. That small gesture can open the door to new friendships and experiences that enrich your life. Living with gratitude and purpose is at the heart of all these changes. As we grow older, it can be easy to focus on what we've lost or what has changed. But by shifting our focus to what we have, our health, our relationships, our experiences, we transform the way we experience each day. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you out loud, it's about living thank you. It's about appreciating the sunrise, savoring your morning coffee, and finding joy in the little moments. Imagine waking up every day filled with gratitude for the life you have, rather than longing for the life you wish you had. How would that change your outlook? Try starting or ending your day with a gratitude journal, writing down 3 things you're thankful for, whether big or small. You might be surprised at how quickly your perspective shifts, bringing unexpected beauty and joy into your everyday life. Looking forward to the next chapter of your life? As you move forward, remember that this new phase is unwritten. A blank canvas waiting to be painted with your experiences, choices, and the lessons you've gathered over the years. This is your time to reflect, reinvent, and step into a phase of life that is entirely your own.